The ultimatum and the line crossed. The screens flickered to life, bathing the command chamber of the UN Star Fortress New Dawn in cold blue light. Admiral Eleanor Cross stood at the center, hands folded tight behind her back, watching the alien glyphs scroll across the largest display. As usual, the computer translated them a second later. No room for misunderstanding now. The Galactic Concorde's message arrived with the usual formality. But this time the words were sharper, heavy with threat. Humanity must surrender. All advanced technology, all military assets to be dismantled, 50% of the human population to be relocated to Outer Council colonies for integration, all leaders and scientific staff to report for re-education. Compliance required in 48 hours. Non-compliance will be met with enforced action. The message echoed through every human settlement across the stars, from the shining domes of Mars to the ocean cities of Europa and the newly settled colonies of Kepler's belt. Eleanor's jaw clenched. The council had never been subtle, but this was something else. She'd spent 2 decades reading between the lines of alien diplomacy. The integration of Earth's people wasn't about peace, it was about control, about ending the one thing the council had never fully understood: human independence. Around the table, the Crisis Council gathered in tight formation. Commander Samuel Ortiz, his face lined with weeks of sleepless defense planning, barely suppressed a curse. Dr. Ravi Varma, Earth's most respected Zen scholar, scrolled rapidly through the translated text, searching for loopholes. General Mireille Fong, head of the World Militia, folded her arms and simply said, "It's an ultimatum, not a negotiation." All across the network, the other voices chimed in, "We can't possibly comply. Relocation is population. Erasure, they want us leaderless and scattered." Varma, always the calmest, summarized the fear. "If we submit, we lose ourselves. If we fight, we risk extinction." Eleanor looked up at the projection, the galaxy map, now marked by council fleet positions. Massive council ships, built for intimidation, were already shifting into blockades around human territory. Supplies were being choked off. Communications jammed. Rumors filtered in. Remote mining outposts cut off. Colony ships disappearing from the network. On Mars, the newly built medical arcologies reported council drones shadowing their perimeter. Then the screens flashed again, this time with breaking news. A demonstration strike, the council called it, a measured response to show their seriousness. 3 planet-killer weapons targeted the Mars colony of Lowell City. Their shields held for less than a minute. Over 70,000 dead, including children. Hospitals obliterated. Live feeds showed crimson clouds swirling over broken glass domes and burning forests. There was silence in the war room. The kind that feels like falling through ice in that moment. Something snapped not just in the leaders of Earth, but across every world, station, and colony where humanity had planted its flag. The council had always threatened, always postured. But this was different. This was slaughter. Admiral Cross turned to the camera, broadcasting to all of humanity. Her voice was soft, but it carried the weight of a world. They want us broken. They want us gone. We are given a choice: obey and watch ourselves fade into history or fight, and risk everything to remain who we are. The line is drawn. I'll not comply. Not this time. Her words lit up screens across every corner of human space. No more diplomacy, only defiance as the shock of Mars's destruction rippled through the solar system. The first reaction was grief. For a single day, people wept for the lost, held vigils, clung to one another in the airless dark. But on the second day, something else began to spread, a kind of stubborn, desperate unity. Every human world transformed. The domed cities of Europa rerouted all power to defense grids. The ocean farms of Titan reprogrammed their harvest drones for patrol duty. The factories of New Africa shifted overnight from consumer goods to munitions. No one waited for government orders. It was as if every soul, everywhere, understood what was at stake. Commander Ortiz mobilized the Colonial Defense Network. Secret, Relays activated across the asteroid belts, linking outposts that the Council believed too minor to matter. His people, miners, traders, engineers, smuggled supplies to isolated worlds. On the network, anonymous coders cracked Council security protocols, feeding misinformation into alien fleet logs. Phantom, human ships appeared, then vanished, keeping the invaders nervous and scattered. Dr. Varma led a new kind of offensive psychological and cultural. He and his team broadcast messages of hope and resistance, splicing them into Council-controlled feeds. Poems, jokes, and old human songs began appearing on alien terminals. Everywhere, Varma reminded humanity, "You are not alone." General Fong's planetary militias grew stronger by the hour. On Earth, street gangs became guerrilla units. In the mining tunnels of Kepler, families learned to rig traps from mining equipment. The Council had expected terror and chaos. Instead, they found a world organizing itself for war at terrifying speed, and everywhere. The old divides, the things that used to matter, fell away. National borders disappeared. Rich and poor stood side by side at the barricades. In every settlement, someone stepped up to lead, someone else to fight, someone else to feed the fighters. When the Council finally sent envoys to negotiate at the ruins of Lowell City, Admiral Cross stood among the memorial markers, the city still smoldering. Behind her, the Zephyrian ambassador, all feathers and arrogance, extended what he called generous surrender terms. Eleanor looked at him, eyes hard as obsidian. "You came here to show us your power. You've succeeded. Now watch as we show you ours." She turned her back and left the aliens standing in the cold Martian wind, the message broadcast to the galaxy. Innovation and the fire turning the tide across human space. The race to survive became a race to innovate. On Luna, Dr. Varma's Zenescolar team cracked the Council's bioneural codes. With them, human engineers developed viral swarms tiny, machines that could infiltrate and disable Council ships from within, leaving enemy crews scrambling in the dark. On Mars, a group of teenage hackers, calling themselves the Breakers, broke into the Council's surveillance networks. With every camera they hijacked, they sent mocking messages in every known Council language, promising resistance at every turn. Commander Ortiz led the most dangerous missions, smuggling cells behind enemy lines, arming rebels with jury-rigged railguns and EMP bombs. His team sabotaged Council logistics hubs, destroyed supply convoys, and turned abandoned mining tunnels into deadly mazes in the asteroid fields. General Fong's guerrillas set traps using asteroid mining drones. When a Council fleet entered what it thought was empty space, hundreds of drones swarmed, detonating shaped charges against hulls, leaving ships crippled or drifting. Human scientists and engineers everywhere worked without rest. In weeks, they developed the Shadow Drive, a warp engine that could skip a ship through microfolds in space, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. Human ships became ghosts, striking and fading before Council guns could track them. The Council's command began to unravel. Their alliance, never truly united, started to fracture under pressure. On the bridge of the alien flagship Council, leaders screamed at each other, blaming sabotage on incompetence and failures on betrayal. Then came the turning point. The Council attempted a full-scale counterattack on Europa, aiming to shatter human resistance once and for all. But Admiral Cross was ready. Using decoy fleets projected by hundreds of small drones, she tricked the Council armada into attacking empty space. When the real human fleet emerged using shadow drives, they caught the aliens off guard and routed them. For the first time, the Council lost a major battle. Human cheers echoed across the system. The message was clear. Humanity was not just surviving, it was winning. The Council fractures, humanity rises. The defeat at Europa sent shockwaves through Council space. Old suspicions between the ruling species reignited. In hidden conference chambers, accusations flew. Had the Zephyrians leaked intel? Were the Varkari sabotaging the fleet? The fragile unity that held the Council together began to dissolve. Meanwhile, Admiral Cross launched Operation Phoenix. Human strike teams using their new shadow drives and viral swarms, hit Council supply lines, communications arrays, and command posts across 10 star systems in a single coordinated strike. Each attack struck like lightning, vanishing before the Council could respond. Back on Earth, General Fong oversaw the defense effort, a billion hands building, repairing, and fighting side by side. In the slums of old Shanghai, former thieves worked next to retired engineers, all working for a single goal. On the frontier, ex-Council subject species began sending coded messages to humans, offering support or begging for rescue. Then the Council made one last gamble. They assembled a planet-killer device, planning to use it against Earth itself as the ultimate act of terror. But Varmus spies uncovered the plan. In a daring midnight raid, Fong's special commandos infiltrated the Council fleet. Fighting hand-to-hand through zero-gravity corridors, they seized the device, then reprogrammed it. Instead of destroying Earth, the device unleashed a disabling pulse across the Council armada, knocking out weapons, shields, and communications. In that moment, humanity seized the initiative. Council ships fell silent, forced to retreat or surrender. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Galactic Council was on the defensive. The last stand and a new dawn. The battered remnants of the Council's grand fleet regrouped for a final attack, targeting Earth itself. Alien ships blotted out the stars, their weapons trained on humanity's cradle. But Earth was not alone. From every colony, every outpost, human ships and fighters raced home. Swelling the defense armada, Admiral Cross took command in orbit, coordinating thousands of ships, millions of defenders. In the command chamber, every screen was alive with faces, pilots, hackers, militia leaders, engineers, children, everyone ready to risk everything for freedom. As the Council fleet advanced, human ingenuity shone. Shadow drives danced human ships between barrages. Viral swarms crashed Council is, and the planet's orbital defenses, run by crowdsourced A, is written by teenage programmers smashed invaders. With railguns and kinetic slugs. On the ground, General Fong led city militias in repelling Council drop troops. In orbit, Commander Ortiz's teams boarded Council vessels, capturing and turning them against their own. The battle was brutal, but for every human ship lost, 10 more stood ready. And for every Council attack, humanity responded with a tactic. The galaxy had never seen sacrifice, creativity, the sheer will to survive and protect one another. Finally, as the Council fleet broke apart, Admiral Cross opened a channel to the Galactic Council's warlord. "The age of your domination is over," she declared. "From this moment, every species will have a choice. We offer peace, but on our terms, freedom, respect, and independence for all. The era of conquest ends now." The Council, defeated and leaderless, had no choice but to accept. Humanity refused to conquer. Instead, it opened the doors to a new Galactic Council, one founded on cooperation and equal voice. The dawn rose over Earth, its light reflecting on a new alliance of worlds. From now on, the story of the galaxy would be written by the hands of the free. Humanity's refusal to kneel had changed everything. And somewhere in every corner of the stars, someone whispered the new legend. When the Council went too far, humanity showed them how far hope and courage could go. The Andi